a lot of the censorship that's happening around the world is starting to spread far and wide. Now it's just hitting this platform as a platform. There is nothing on the internet, nothing that is not considered slightly sensitive somewhere. Censorship is bad. It should be easy as that. Censorship is bad. No one should be pro-censorship. It's crazy, man. Crazy.
Everybody put 3 fingers in the air. The sky's falling, the wind is calling. Stand for something or die in the morning. Section 80, high power.
So YouTube nuked my original Caleb Hammer video, and I'm just going to say it outright here at the beginning. I think Caleb himself had something to do with it. Let's talk about it. On July 26th, I published my original video titled Caleb Hammer is the Andrew Tate of Financial Content, which illuminated some of his, let's say, more problematic behavior. To summarize, I think Caleb is a right-wing closet case. And besides that little personal take there, and the actual presentation of the subject matter, there wasn't really anything new discussed in the video. Most of the controversies had already been covered by creators like Scott Schaefer, D'Angelo Wallace, Nicole Slasky, I may be saying that name wrong, Dante Welch, among others. I just packaged it up in a creative little way. It's a good video. If you haven't seen it, I recommend giving it a watch. The uncensored version is available for free on another platform currently. I'll talk about that a little bit more later in this video. Caleb actually responded to some of these creators himself, even starting a short feud with D'Angelo that involved Caleb issuing multiple threats to sue him, which is just something Caleb does.
Listen, I'm not promising I'm suing you, but I'm promising I'm talking to my lawyers about suing you. Buddy, I'm going to sue you.
With the way Caleb talks, we can assume he's had his lawyers at the very least send a cease and desist or two at some point. I mentioned that in my original video, and I expected that to happen to me, but so far, not a word. In fact, things were going pretty well for a couple of days, and then after the video reached about 350,000 views and was covered by a couple of larger creators, on August 1st, about a week after being posted, I received an email from YouTube stating the video had been age restricted, and the views went from about 4,000 to 5,000 an hour to about 500 almost instantaneously. The email from YouTube stated the video violated Google's nudity and sexual content policy, which specifically lists explicit content meant to be sexually gratifying or content as prohibited on the platform. My video contains none of that, and the policy itself states we may make exceptions for content with educational, documentary, scientific, or artistic context, including content that is in the public interest. My video actually did meet Google's EDSA exception when reviewing the requirements. This is basically how true crime channels talk about things way worse than anything discussed in my video, but don't suffer any punishment. But let's disregard that and focus on the part about public interest. Given that Caleb has recently appeared on multiple mainstream podcasts, including the Joe Rogan Experience, and is increasingly becoming a household name, as well as the fact that the public literally expressed interest in the video, it's demonstrable that the video and allegations against Caleb Hammer are in the public interest. Since I had the option to appeal the decision, I moved forward, and within minutes I received another email ruling the video violated content guidelines and would remain restricted. Keep in mind, the clip stamped at 31 minutes and 17 seconds mentioned in the email has been featured in multiple other videos, none of which are age restricted or appear to have run into policy issues. So I reached out to YouTube support directly, and after a back and forth with a support rep, it was forwarded to a ticket to be reviewed, and I was told I would hear back in a couple of days.
You can talk to our complaint department. It's a trash can.
At this point, I figured it was time to just cut my losses and give up on the appeal. I was happy with the performance of the video even though it was cut short, and I still stand by the quality of the video itself, but I decided to make a post about it, and this may have been a mistake. Another couple of days later, I received an additional email from YouTube notifying me the video had been removed entirely for violating Google's child safety content policy, stating, "After reviewing the video, we found it violates our child safety policy. As such, the video has been removed. Content featuring minors engaging in provocative dancing, dares, challenges, or other behavior is not allowed on YouTube." The things cited in the policy violation are nowhere in the video. There are no minors in the video at all. Only a discussion in which Caleb Hammer talks about a minor himself.
Thing that they think makes me look like a bad guy is when when I make jokes in a group chat.
Which brings me to the question, if YouTube feels like the video of Caleb Hammer talking about his deep personal desires to children is inappropriate, why does YouTube not have an issue with platforming Caleb Hammer himself? YouTube has demonetized or removed creators from their partner program based on off-camera behavior, and their right to do so is clearly outlined in the creator responsibility policy. As a YouTube creator, you should remain responsible both on and off the platform. If we see that a creator's on and or off-platform behavior harms our users, community, employees, or ecosystem, we may take action to protect the community. But something tells me Caleb, who reportedly generates an annual revenue of over $7 million in YouTube memberships alone, doesn't undergo the same scrutiny as smaller creators.
On our monthly membership, we have almost 120,000 paying members.
As a matter of fact, Caleb specifically violated YouTube's nudity and sexual content policy himself. For context, there's a creator called Bradley on a Budget who does frugal living budget content. I'm really not too familiar with him, but he's also an openly gay OnlyFans creator, and Caleb subscribed to his OnlyFans and watched gay porn live on his stream. This is not only a violation of Google's content policy of posting, quote, explicit content meant to be sexually gratifying, end quote, but also a violation of federal law under Title 17 of the United States Code. It was so gratuitous, even Caleb's fans said the video should be age restricted, to which Caleb said he didn't care because he has enough money to retire. The whole thing is outlined in a video from Bradley, and I can't show you here what Caleb did because YouTube is almost guaranteed to punish me for it, but it's an extremely uncomfortable watch. Not just because of the playing in the background, but because you're watching the reaction of one of Caleb's victims who didn't volunteer to go on his show and give consent to be bullied and insulted, which is Caleb's fans' favorite thing to say to defend him. My original video was actually covered by Lance from The Surfs, who expressed he didn't like that I was commenting on Caleb's sexuality. I completely understand that, and his discomfort is totally valid, but Lance, is subscribing to and watching gay porn on OnlyFans a typically straight thing to do? Just so we're clear, I'm not saying Caleb should be demonetized, deplatformed, or investigated by the federal government for pirating gay porn on his live stream and or a minor, but I do think his actions should be scrutinized by the platform to the same degree as that of smaller creators. I've had people say in comments, you had to have expected this to happen if you made a video about one of YouTube's cash cows, and to that I say no. No, I did not expect that to happen. I didn't expect to be censored. I did not expect to have a video nuked off the platform for violations that are not even present in my video, and then to be told, as a matter of fact, just have them insist that they do exist. What I think we should all expect is consistency from YouTube when it comes to enforcing those policies it holds small creators to so strictly. And this is what makes me question the legitimacy of the actions taken by YouTube against my video. I say much more vulgar things in other videos. One of my videos is so explicit that when I tell someone like a family member or something about my channel, I sometimes recommend they take a pass on it, and still, no age restrictions or warnings related to the content there. So why would I see such an aggressive response related to this video if there wasn't some sort of external force impacting the decisions? I have to make this totally clear. I have no definitive proof of this. This is only my speculation. But I honestly believe that as the original video became more prominent, reaching over 300,000 views, and began to get coverage from other creators, one of which a former friend of Caleb's, I don't think it's out of place to say, with viewers actively commenting they were unsubscribing from Caleb's channel and canceling memberships, Caleb contacted YouTube to influence them to take action. That may sound paranoid or like I'm just jumping to conclusions, and to be fair, it kind of is, but let's just take a beat and talk through it. Once you reach a certain level on YouTube, you have a specific point of contact you can reach out to directly. I'm nowhere near that, and I don't expect I ever will be, but Caleb definitely is. One of the ways I know this is because he's talked about it openly in an interview. I have no doubt that Caleb, who brings in millions of dollars in memberships and ad revenue for the platform, would have some sort of influence there to, at the very least, have them apply a bit of extra scrutiny. And given that my video is more mild than anything you'd find on literally any true crime channel, one of which has a photo of a tied up in the video and thumbnail, something I definitely can't show here, but still that video is not restricted in any way. Meanwhile, I make a video that doesn't even include a minor at all, and that's the reason cited it's removed from the platform. Now, some people, meaning Caleb's defenders, have already argued that Caleb could just sue me, and that's a valid point. He could, if he was so compelled, contact his lawyers, pay them God knows how much, and then go the legal route. But it's becoming increasingly more apparent that suing fellow content creators, specifically those who have less money, influence, and the ability to fight back, can have a major negative impact on your own reputation. If you don't keep up with the latest legal proceedings in the online video content space, Ethan Klein from the H3 podcast has sued multiple creators for defamation and copyright infringement. The general consensus is that it's a pretty thing to do, and even more so now that he's suffered multiple humiliating, crushing defeats. So why would Caleb do that? Make a public spectacle out of this whole situation, bring more attention to me and to himself if he doesn't have to? Depending on the nature of the lawsuit, there's a good chance the details of these topics would be brought more in the public eye. More messages could become public. Not only him, but his employees could all possibly be subject to depositions. It could put a lot of attention on things that he really would not want attention on. Caleb has acknowledged it was him in both the voice message about him hooking up a previous guest with an unknown creator and a group chat where he says he literally wants to. Still, I wonder who that mystery creator in the voice message could possibly be.
I honestly, this is so silly, and I would never announce this out loud to the world, but I considered, like, what would it be like if I started one, just because, I don't know, I find this stuff kind of fun. You know, once I was like 100,000 subscribers, because I would pay for things, but I don't know. One, I'm not hot, so I don't think a lot of people would sign up. Oh my god, so stupid.
Caleb also acknowledged his creepy date resulting in him being kicked off of Hinge, Tinder, and Bumble really happened, even if he disputes only some of the details.
You see that? Dining room camera.
Oh my god, let's go! Woo! Woo! Yes! Yes! He fucking did it! He self-reported his hidden dining room camera!
So Caleb has more reason than not to, at the very least, attempt to have my video taken down behind the scenes, and that in and of itself aligns perfectly with his own stated behavior, given that he's gleefully stated how he destroys people behind the scenes.
If you don't think I know how to do legal strategy, you have no idea what's happened behind the scenes. I destroy people. I will destroy you. You don't get to do this without consequences.
Caleb hasn't clarified how, but I think it's safe to say that someone who casually brags about destroying people, whether he means financially, reputationally, or otherwise, would be willing to sink to the level of contacting YouTube directly to pressure them into taking action against someone he believes is hurting his, and therefore YouTube's interests. And if that is the case, I don't fault YouTube. I'm very fortunate to have had even the modest amount of success I've seen on this platform, and I hope my channel continues to grow. But that can't happen if I make a video containing valid points backed up by a solid argument against someone with a large audience, and then it gets pulled due to false claims that it violates content policies. That's not good for creators, and it's not good for viewers either, since in most cases that results in content being put behind paywalls on other platforms with less discoverability. In this instance, the uncensored video is now available for a limited time for free on Patreon. Again, that's for free on Patreon. I can't provide a direct link to the video since I believe that would violate YouTube's content policies, but there's a link in the description to my Patreon where you can view all the free or paid content. And again, I have no definitive evidence that Caleb Hammer had anything to do with this. I hope that's not the case, and if that isn't the case, he has my sincerest apologies for everything that I'm saying here. But he only has my apologies for the things I'm saying here. I wish I had nothing to say about him at all, and I wish everything I had to say had been exhausted in a previous video. But unfortunately, there are a few more things I wanted to mention. I'm not sure what the best approach for that is since I don't have an idea for a fully fleshed out video, and I'm not sure how it would fit into my overall content. It may be something that winds up on Patreon or a second channel. I'm not sure at this point. To be honest, having that first video perform so well felt really good, and it would have been a big milestone to have a video hit 500,000 views. But I still want to say thank you to everyone who watched the original and the re-upload. I want to say thank you to all my subscribers, to all the current members, and of course, a special thanks to all those people who choose to give a little bit of extra support.